This video is going to be about some calculator skills, specifically finding zeros on your calculator and also finding function values from a graph. So let's say we had this question, very common intermediate value theorem question. Given this quadratic, find f of c such that f of c equals 0. Okay, find the zeros of the function, in other words. We could, set this function equal to 0 and factor, or use quadratic formula, or completing the square. But when we have calculators, one of the skills we're expected to do in calculus is use the function on the calculator that will do this for you. So you enter the function in y2, as I did, and then you hit graph, so I can focus this. There we go. You hit graph, and then if your zoom's off, just hit zoom 6. Oops. Oh, sorry, wrong button. Zoom 6. And that'll give you a more standard view, a 10 by 10 graph. So we want to find these 2 points, the zeros. Now, I could use the trace function on the calculator, but I don't usually trust the trace function. It's not always accurate. So what I want to use is under the calculation function, this blue calc, I want to use the 0 function. So on my graph, I'm going to hit second calc. I'm going to select zeros, which is option 2. So I hit 2, and then it's going to ask me 2 questions. It's going to say, what's the left bound and what's the right bound of the 0? So I have 2 zeros. If I wanted to experiment with this 0, I'd go to the left of the 0. So let's go over here. And I am taking the cursor to the left of the 0. And then I'm going to hit enter. And then it asks me for right bound. So I'm going to take the cursor, I call this guy the spider, to the right of the 0. Yes, and I hit enter. And then it says, hey, do you want me to guess? I'm like, sure, guess the 0 for me. And there it is. It guessed the 0 at x equals negative 1.541. Okay, so the answer to this question is find c, that actually should say find c such that f of c equals 0. So one of our c's is what we just got. X equals negative 1.541. And to find the other one, same thing. We're going to hit the second calculate, and we get this menu. We select option 2, and we're going to go to the other side. So I'm going to trace over so I get closer. Okay, my spider's on the left side of this 0. And by the way, if you guess left or right wrong, it'll just give you an error symbol. So you don't have to worry too much, like if you guess the wrong side. The calculator will say error, and then you just do it differently next time. There's my right side. Enter, and then it says guess. Yep. And there's my other 0, x equals 4.541. Okay, so that's how you find zeros. There's one more thing you might have to do. You might have to find a value such that, find c such that f of c, for example, equals, I don't know, negative 1.38. Well, for sure I don't want to try to solve this by hand, because that would mean doing negative 1.38 equals the original function, x squared minus 3x minus 7. Yeah, that's going to be difficult. So I'm going to use my calculator. Okay, so what I do with my calculator is I have the original function in still. I'm going to go to y equals, and for y2, I'm actually going to graph the value that I'm looking for. It said I'm looking for, I want the y value to be negative 1.38. So I'm going to actually graph a horizontal line at y equals negative 1.38. So I'm going to hit graph. So I should have a parabola and a straight line now. And what's cool is our calculator will tell us where these lines, or the parabola and the line intersect, and that should get me the ordered pair that I want. So here we go. Second, calculate. Option 5 says intersect, and it says, hey, are you on the first curve? It doesn't really matter. Sure. It says up here I'm on y equals x squared minus 3x minus 7. That could be my first curve. I want to find this intersection point, so I am going to use my arrow key for a minute just to move a little closer so it doesn't get confused which intersection point. Okay, so first curve, yes, that works. Second curve, let's see. I can't really tell exactly, but oh yeah, y2 equals negative 1.38. So the little spider is on the second curve. So I'm going to hit enter again. And that says, you want me to guess? Yes, enter again. And then here's my ordered pair. X equals negative 1.305 when y equals negative 1.38. Okay, let's do it again here on the other side. So I'm going to do second, calc, and I hit intersect for 5. I hit 5 for intersect. And then first curve. See how I'm over at this old intersection point? I'm going to use my arrow button to get a little bit further over here. So I'm just going to take that spider on a little journey. There we go. Yeah, I'm still on the second curve. That works. So I'm going to hit enter. Then it says second curve. Yeah, my spider, it says here, is at 1.38. I'm going to hit enter. Do I want it to guess? Sure. And it says my ordered pair there is x equals 4.035 and y equals negative 1.38. So let's do one more of those. So let's say you wanted to find when f of x equals 6. So I'm looking for the x value that makes the y value 6. So I'm going to come over to my y equals. In y2, I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to clear what I have there. Oops, I accidentally cleared y1. So that means I have to type this in again. Here we go. X squared minus 3x minus 7. And then in my second one, that's the same function. I just accidentally erased it. In the second one, I was looking for where f of x equals 6. So I'm going to graph y equals 6, and that's going to get me a horizontal line there. Okay, so now I'm going to graph this. And let's say I was only interested in this intersection. So let's try this. Second, calc, intersect, which is option 5. First curve. Seems like we're awful far over here. I'm going to use my arrow keys to get a little closer to the other intersection. So then I'm going to hit enter. Second curve. Yep, I'm on the y equals 6 curve. Enter. Guess. And there's my ordered pair. When x equals 5.05, y equals 6. I hope that was helpful.